So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at both Slowbro and Slowking at the same time, because they're basically the same Pokemon. Their defenses are just swapped around. They also have a couple of moves that the other one doesn't, and that's what you want to lean into if you are choosing one over the other. So, Slowbro gets Body Press. That's the better preferred one because its defense is higher. So yeah, you're going to be able to go for the Body Press Iron Defense set that is such a good combination at this point. Slowbro has made use of this back in previous generations. It did pop up on a couple of teams. It did have Yawn over Stored Power on that set because Dynamax, in Dynamax formats, Yawn was absolutely busted. Not as necessary in this one, but Yawn is still a good move. But I would think that Stored Power is probably slightly preferred because then you can hit the Ghost types and you can make use of your defense boosts as well offensively on the special side. So that will be able to be nice coverage because Psychic and Fighting is very good coverage as well. You get the Stab Stored Power, so that could be quite nice indeed. And you'll be able to make yourself unkillable by the Iron Defenses because you just want to maximize your special defenses, which is actually going to be quite reasonable. Like the bulk on Slowbro is very good. It can definitely make use of Iron Defense and Body Press. Just imagine if Mega Slowbro had access to Body Press Iron Defense. That would be insane. But you get Recovery as well. So then you get to just go for Body Press Iron Defense, and you've got Recovery, which is also very good, and then you just get your coverage, basically. So if you have the Safety Goggles and the Steel Terra typing, you just are immune to Amoonguss. Because then you can stop the Clear Smogs with the Steel Terra typing, and you can stop the Spores with the Safety Goggles. So that would be very nice in beating that, because then you can just Iron Defense all over it, and then just eventually Store Power it, and then you'll be able to beat it 1v1, because that would have been one of the main ways to check Slowbro. Because like Amoonguss is a good way, like Clear Smog is good for dealing with the stat boosting strategies, so this would be a way to make yourself immune. You don't have to go for that at all. You can go for lefties instead, and then Fairy is probably one of the better defensive typings that it can go for. And also, you don't have to run Store Power. You can just commit to Body Press as your only offensive move and accept that you don't hit the ghosts at all, because setting Trick Room for itself would also be very good and benefit the team as well. So Store Power is a little bit more selfish on the Slowbro to be able to get coverage as well, but Trick Room would help out the team a bit more, and it also makes use of Trick Room very well because it is so slow. So this would be perfectly reasonable as well. And then, yeah, you don't need the safety goals as much. It's still perfectly viable on the Slowbro, but that's just another option. If you're supposed to sit on the field and just never die, then Leftovers is going to be a good item to be able to help with that as well. So this would be the main reason to use Slowbro over Slowking. Slowking now has a signature attack. Obviously based on the movie Slowking, where it was telling terrible jokes. So now you get to set the snow as you switch out, making use of your regenerator as well. So it actually combos quite nicely there. So that you can set the Trick Room and then Chilly Receptioning out into a ice type in the back that's going to be able to make use of the defense boost. So ideally something that can spam Blizzard, something like a Glaceon. So then you want to just bulk yourself out with the Citrus Berry because you don't need the leftovers as much because you're not intending to stay on the field. So getting the Citrus Berry would be a bit more effective so that you can survive a couple of hits, shrug them off to get the Trick Room immediately, and then Chilly Receptioning out, and then you recover yourself with the Regenerator. Water and Psychic is actually very good coverage. You're resorting to Hydro Pump at this point, but the special attack stat is not terrible. So I've given it quite a lot of special attack EVs rather than just going full defense, because then your Hydro Pump can actually hit pretty hard. So what this can do is a Terra Water Hydro Pump can OHKO a Fire type Annihilate. I mean, that's quite specific, but Psychic hits Annihilate super effectively if it hasn't Terra'd, and Water, like they're turning into Fire types almost exclusively now because it is one of the best types for Annihilate. So then this combination of stabs is able to super effectively hit Annihilate in or out of Terra. So that is quite nice. And you kind of have to resort to Hydro Pump, unfortunately. If it was Scald, I would run Scald. But Scald is gone, so Hydro Pump it is. And then you can actually do some reasonable damage with the Slowking as well. You could go for a more defensive Terra typing with the Slowking, but that calc of Terra, Water, Hydro Pump, OHKOing Annihilate is quite nice, because that is a very, very important Pokemon to be able to deal with. So yeah, Slowking's main thing now would be to Chilly Reception. Definitely doesn't need to do that, though. It can kind of do the Body Press Iron Defense stuff, but on the special side instead. So it can make use of Calm Mind. Slowbro can still Calm Mind itself, but Slowking can do it slightly better, because you might as well be Body Pressing with Slowbro if you're going for that. So Calm Mind on the Slowking, you get a combination of the Water and Psychic still, but Chilling Water combos with Calm Mind, because then you get the special defense boost and you get the attack drops while still doing damage off your stab. So then when you've got a couple of Calm Minds, the Chilling Water will still do okay damage, but then Psyshock is your main way of dealing damage, because then you can hit on the special and the physical side with Psyshock and Chilling Water, and then you still got your recovery as well. And then this one should be oblivious if it is just intending to sit on the field for the entirety of the time. Citrus Berry would be fine, Leftovers would also be fine on this one. Either of the recovering things would be decent. So yeah, this is an alternative. Body Press is probably more consistent because you get you get more defensive quicker, therefore you're also doing more damage quicker. But this is a decent one on the special side as well that you can go for. Here are some other options. This is not a recommended moveset. These are other options to have over Hydro Pump / Psychic, because these are reasonable moves to attack. If you're setting the snow, then switching back in and being able to make use of the snow with Blizzard would be quite nice. Then you can pair that with water and ice, and that's a good coverage combination. Flamethrower is going to be good coverage as well. If you're going with Psychic, instead, then Flamethrower is going to be decent coverage into things as well. And the Chilling Water would be fine on a more defensive one. It doesn't have to be just on the Carmine one. And Bulldoze can activate a weakness policy. Slowking is definitely slow enough that it can be a Trick Room setter that then activates a weakness policy for its partner. So that would be perfectly fine as well. Here are some more defensive, status, I should say, status moves that are reasonable on Slowbro or Slowking. Again, this is not a recommended moveset. These are moves that can fit onto a Trick Room Slowbro or Slowking. Heal Pods is very good to be able to heal your partners, so that you can get that recovery with 50%. It now gets Helping Hand. I'm pretty sure it didn't get Helping Hand before, but that's always a good thing to help out your Trick Room Sweepers so that they can push the damage over the edge so it does get a KO. Yawn is still a usable move, for sure. It's not as effective as it was, or as crippling, I should say, as it was back in Dynamax formats, because Yawning a Dynamax Pokemon is very good. It's not as effective. It's still good to force switches or force sleeps, but not as necessary. Still a good move, though, and Disable can cripple some choice Pokemon as well, which could be quite nice. So any of these moves could fit onto a Trick Room set. Onto this one, even over Chilly Reception. Like, you don't need Chilly Reception if you're using the Slowking. It's just the niche of it, if you want to be using it, but dropping Chilly Reception for any of these support moves would be perfectly viable as well. So, yeah, this is still a perfectly decent Pokemon. I think losing Scold was pretty big for it, but it can still adapt to that, because you've still got the Body Press, Iron Defense stuff you can do, and Chilly Reception, amusingly, is quite a funny move.